Recently, IHG's program has gotten significantly more interesting and competitive. Specifically, they've added very intriguing milestone rewards. Are these actually worth going for, or are they pretty much worthless? Today, we're going to talk about that. My name is Sean, and I'm here with my co host.
Hi, everyone. I'm Sherwin here today at the Credit Card BS podcast, where we're going to discuss IHG Milestone Rewards. So, as many of you may know, hotel programs usually have loyalty status. So, that's like if you meet a certain number of nights, you will earn a type of status and you'll get benefits every time you go to a hotel corresponding to your status. But milestone rewards are a bit different. There are these different perks that you obtain when you hit a certain number of night thresholds, and then you can redeem those perks at specific stays for particular benefits. Sean, do you kind of want to talk about the ones that IHG has?
Yeah, so IHG, one of the main ones they have are Suite Upgrade Awards. And this is similar to Hyatt's one, but not as good. So these work for stays up to 5 nights. You can use them whether it's a cash stay or a point stay. You have to call in to use them. It can't be done online. And the one kind of big negative to these is the fact that they can be applied 14 days out from arrival, but no earlier than that, compared with Hyatt's where they're like, they work from the moment you book the hotel. And this works to standard suites only, which are up to the hotel's discretion what is counted as a standard suite. And the expiration for these is 12 months after you choose it for your milestone.
Yeah, so I feel like it's a mixed bag here. I mean, one of the pros I think is you can actually earn your first suite upgrade award if you so choose at 20 nights. Unlike Hyatt, which I believe you have to get to 50 nights to even have the chance to earn, your first one. That being said, I do think it is nice that they let you confirm the entire stay rather than doing it night by night, which is what Marriott does. However, I have heard data points of people, struggling to use these before they expire. People online have indicated that when they call in to redeem these, oftentimes because it's a new system, the agents aren't very familiar with the system. There are errors when it's being applied. People are being told that they cannot use the suite upgrades, even though they're seeing availability online. And it's just not as reliable from what I've seen as like Hyatt system. Sean, what's your take on this?
Yeah, I feel like I really like the fact that you can earn them so early. I really like that they can be used on cash or point stays. I appreciate how it's theoretically a system, unlike Marriott's, where if the suite is open in that booking window, the 14 days out, then you're allowed to do it. The problem for me is IHG seems to, one, they don't really designate online, like with an easy, simple like text description like Hyatt does of what is a standard suite and what is not a standard suite, because how do I know, if the hotel I want to go use this at, what kind of suite it is? I'd either have to call in, which would be annoying, or just like hope, right? Because is it a junior suite? Is it an actual legitimate 1-bedroom suite? What is it, right? That's annoying. So for me, I feel like these are definitely like a nice to have, but it's not some like overpowered instrument like Hyatt's. Like Hyatt's are just straight up overpowered if you use them right. If you're booking your stays a full year out with Hyatt, like every single stay you do could pretty much be a suite if you are, attain a high enough level of status. Whereas with this, it's only 14 days out. There's too many unknowns. So I'm not that impressed with this, to be honest. I think it could be useful though.
Yeah, I think if they fix their operational reliability issues and, I start seeing more reports of people consistently being able to use it, I would give it a thumbs up. But we'll have to see. I think it's still early in the program launch. Like they launched this very recently. So we'll have to see, and as well as the degree of cooperation from individual properties for letting people apply these. Another perk that you can earn with IHG Milestone Rewards is the annual lounge membership, which is interesting because many programs confer lounge membership as an aspect of the status here. So for example, if you're a Hyatt Globalist, Marriott Platinum, I believe, or Hilton Diamond, you get access to lounges in hotels that have them. With IHG, even if you have Diamond status, that doesn't necessarily give you lounge access. Instead, you must actually select it at the 40 night mark or the 70 night mark. Sean, why don't you kind of explain what the terms of this look like?
So what this works is when you select it, you get access to lounges, right? Club lounges at IHG properties for the current calendar year plus the next calendar year, right? So you could theoretically get this to like up to a 2-year membership, similar to basically how status works, right? And this works for any like number of stays you do. It's an unlimited number of times, and it's for you and one guest. And this is it really interesting to me, to be honest with you, because with all these other elite programs, okay, Hyatt, Hilton, and Marriott that confer these, lounge memberships. Let's be real. The lounges, most of the time, pretty mid, okay? Even at like high tier properties, pretty mid, okay? But from what I hear and from what I've seen, lounges at IHG properties, even intercontinentals, even like mid tier intercontinentals, like I had a friend that visited the downtown LA Intercontinental, which is a pretty like, whatever hotel. They're supposed to have some pretty legit lounges, some pretty good stuff. I visited the Regent Club at the Regent Phu Quoc in Vietnam. Love that hotel, by the way. And wow, that looks like a nice club lounge, like a legit place. And the reason these lounges are so good is because no one has access to it. Most people are, having to stay in rooms which come with the benefit, like suites or high tier rooms or whatever. And very few people earn it from status because, it's not like you can just spend your way to get the status. You actually have to stay 40 nights, which is a pretty significant amount. So I'm actually like, I don't have this perk, but I really want it because they seem to be the nicest tier of lounges that you can attain just by like earning a milestone award or elite status or whatever, compared, with other programs where you have to actually like buy a room, like Ritz-Carlton lounges where you have to get like a club room.
Yeah, I mean, it's good to know that these lounges are at least nice if they're going to be hard to get. I think one possible factor that they're nice is they're less overcrowded. Like everyone and their mother is Hilton Diamond, right? And now you can get Marriott Platinum with just a brilliant credit card directly. And Hyatt, there have historically been opportunities to fast track your way to Globalist or even get it through credit card spend by earning elite nights through there. Whereas IHG, none of these avenues through credit cards are really available. You really do have to stay the 40 nights to get it. Now, one thing to note is that generally when you hit a milestone threshold, you have 90 days to pick what milestone reward you want. And you can actually leverage this strategically to your benefit, especially with respect to the annual lounge membership. So let me give you an example. Let's say you reach 40 or 70 night threshold after October 1st. You're then in that window where that 90-day period where you have to book or you have to choose includes January 1st or later of the following year. And because when you pick the club lounge membership, you get access through the remainder of the current calendar year as well as the following calendar year, you can essentially get 2 years of club lounge membership if you earn the 40-night threshold after October 1st of a particular year and wait and do not select annual lounge membership until January 1st the following year. So this is a little trick, I guess, which is kind of weird because they're kind of incentivizing you not to stay 40 nights until later on in the year.
I know. It seems like an odd way to do it. I mean, obviously it would depend on your situation. Like if you're going to spend 40 nights the next year as well, then it doesn't matter when you pick, right? Because then you want it for those 90-day period to have it. I mean, but this is a really cool perk. I think like of the milestone rewards, this is my favorite.
Yes. And then there's one other option, which is food and beverage, reward. I believe it's each food and beverage reward is worth $20 or some kind of currency conversion if your hotel is in another country. And how it works is you see them on the app during your stay, you can hit the redeem button and then supposedly it'll get applied to your folio, assuming you have food and beverage charges. Thoughts on this, Sean? I know they had some struggles with rolling this out initially, but from what I've seen, it's mostly operational now.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, mid. It's cool, but like what? Like, okay, the highest the most you could pick for one of these for like a single milestone is 5, right? So $100 food and beverage credit. I mean, okay, that's something, but when you have other options on there, like a confirmable suite upgrade and lounge membership, it's like, am I gonna pick that? No. Now, there's a few cases in which it makes. We'll talk to you about the specific night thresholds in a second, where it could make sense to pick these. And I think it's interesting to have it. It just feels, I don't know, it feels a little gimmicky almost. Like I'd rather just them give me a credit. I don't know why they have to wrap, because it's cash value anyways, right? I don't know why they have to wrap it in this whole like, oh, you get a reward or like a certificate. But if it's like worth a fixed cash value at all places, I don't see the point in that. It's cool though, I guess. It'd be nice to get a little discount on food.
Yes, do know that they have expiration dates. So like if you have a bunch of food and beverage rewards and you don't use them, they go away. So I guess it's not really cash value if you think about it that way. Let's chat about the specific night thresholds where you can earn these. So as early as 20 nights, you can choose between 5,000 bonus points, 2 food and beverage rewards, and 1 confirmable suite upgrade. Sean, I personally think the suite upgrade would probably be the most valuable of these. But if you know for sure you're going to struggle to use it, between the 5,000 points and food beverage rewards, which one would you go for?
I would personally go for the food and beverage rewards because so let's say it's worth $20 each, right? So we're talking $40 compared to 5,000 points. I'd rather have the $40 because I could buy the points for a lot cheaper. And, especially if I'm going to a resort, I'm going to be spending $40 at some point on food and beverage at most of these places. So I think that'd be way more valuable.
Yes, I generally agree, but do note that food and beverage rewards expire, or as the points, once they're in your account, they're less likely to expire, assuming you have activity or credit card. 30 nights, you can choose between 5,000 points or 2 food and beverage rewards. At 40 nights, where it gets interesting, you can choose 2 of the following: 10,000 bonus points, 5 food and beverage rewards, around $100, 1 confirmable suite upgrade, or 1 annual lounge membership, which we discussed. 50 nights, you could choose between 10,000 points or 5 food and beverage rewards. Same thing at 60 nights. At 70 nights, you can choose 2 of the same things at 40 nights. So 10,000 bonus points, 5 food and beverage, 2 confirmable suite upgrades. So instead of 1, and then 1 annual lounge membership. So, assuming you pick the annual lounge membership at 40 nights, I'll probably take the 2 confirmable suite upgrades at least as one of my choices. 70 nights, 80 nights, 10,000 points and 5 food and beverage rewards. Same thing at 90, same thing at 100. So it does go up to 100, which is higher than your 70 night threshold for IHG Diamond status. Now, another important thing to note about these is you actually need to stay these nights. You can't earn it with credit card spend, right? So, Sean, do you kind of want to explain this difference, like Hyatt, for example, versus this in terms of how credit card spend relates to earning milestone rewards?
Yes. So with Hyatt, when you spend on their credit card, on the personal card at least, you earn 2 elite qualifying nights for every $5,000 in spending. Those are actual like elite qualifying nights in the sense that they count for Hyatt Milestone Rewards as well as Hyatt status. So if you spend your way to Globalist in a Hyatt card, you've actually earned full Globalist, not like just Globalist status, but none of the milestones. You've earned all the milestones along the way by spending because you get those elite qualifying nights directly. With IHG, you can spend $40,000 on the card to attain diamond status, but that does not come with the milestone rewards of attaining diamond status, right? It's not giving you 70 IHG elite qualifying nights. It's just giving you direct diamond status. So you actually, to get these milestones, there's no way to just spend your way to it. Even if you're spending, from what I understand, like with Hyatt, you can like spend your way to Globalist with just like having a lot of base points and stuff. IHG lets you do that for diamond status, but like not the milestone rewards as well. So you actually have to spend the nights to get it. There's not any kind of hack to spending a lot of money to get it. And so that's what makes these more difficult to earn than Hyatt.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that take. Is there anything else you wanted to add before we kind of wrap up with our overall take, whether we think it's worth it?
I mean, I would say like for the important milestones, right? Like at 40 and 70, at 40, you pick the lounge membership. I mean, that's even if you can get a couple nights out of that, super useful. and then probably the suite upgrade. And then at 70, probably pick the 2 confirmable suite upgrades because that's only requires 1 choice. And then probably the 5 food and beverage rewards if you could do it. I think that pretty much covers anything about these milestones. Really, it's just that that annual lounge membership. I just want to re-emphasize like how good that can be. At the Regent Fugua, they charge $150 per person per night to get access to that lounge. No room on property naturally comes with it. You have to buy it, even if you're staying in like a mega suite. And so like there are some really good IHG club lounges. I just need to emphasize that.
Yes. I mean, one thing I did notice was with IHG Milestone Rewards is there's no opportunity to earn like free night certificates or anything like that. Unlike Hyatt, where you earn, a category 1 through 4 at 30 nights, 1 through 7 at 60 nights, and then I think now there's like it's the ultimate one at 150. Is there another one in between? I don't remember, but like you can actually earn tangible certificates toward like a stay. Whereas, these sort of feel a little more abstract. I don't know. I think overall my take is that it's cool that IHG's decided to release this. I think that does make it much more competitive of a program previously. But because there's not really any shortcuts to earning these with credit cards, I feel like it's just too much of a barrier for me to actually invest a substantial amount of nights to, earn these things. Like suite upgrade words that I'm not even sure if I'll be able to use, or like other things that are sort of cash value adjacent. I'm happy to spend like the 40K to get diamond status because I think that's pretty tangible and not too hard to attain. But I think it's just too hard for me to actually spend that many nights solely for the purpose of chasing the milestone rewards. So that's my take. Sean, do you want to wrap up with your take?
Yeah, I pretty much agree with that. I feel like it is not something that I would be like, oh, I want to go mattress run. It's really something where it's like, oh, if I was spending a bunch of money on hotel stays anyways, right? If I was going to like, because IHG has a couple of really choice properties around the world, like some really good stuff. If you're very careful and like pick them out. So if I was doing those kind of stays at these like top tier properties where they have like club lounges, and I know I might be able to use my suite upgrade award and stuff, then I would be more tempted. But just given the fact that Hyatt has the milestone rewards that are much easier to get because you can spend your way to them, that are much more tangible, that are transferable now, like you can send them to other people can send them to you, like that, they've really made Hyatt like a fully complete and like useful program. So it's tough to justify. The only part that really interests me in this whole thing is the lounge access, which is already niche to begin with. So it's nice, but nothing remarkable.
I mean, if you really want lounge access that badly, I almost feel like you could just purchase it for that stay you really want. I think you would save more money than like trying to mattress run 40 nights to get it. Like you're right. I think more money, right?
The only counter would be if it was like if you're like a business traveler staying like 1 to 2 months a year in like high tier intercontinentals or regions where they have a club. Because then it would, it's like $100 a day probably to purchase that. So, but
oh yeah, it makes sense.
That's the only like counter.
I wouldn't
if
go
you're doing,
out
like,
of my way solely
yes.
for like a particular stay.
Totally agree.
To get 40. Okay, so I think that does it pretty well for this episode. If you enjoyed it, please give this video a like and consider subscribing to our podcast channel. Additionally, if you want to apply for any credit cards to help subsidize your travel, please consider using one of the links down in the description below. It greatly helps us out. John, why don't you plug our Discord?
So if you want to connect with an elite group of award travelers and credit card enthusiasts entirely for free, check out the Traveling Discord at the link in the description. Thank you so much for watching, and we will see you next week.